Welcome, everybody. Welcome to Here to Help You.
Yes, yes.
So hold on, before we start, Chelsea, do you need to sneeze?
You better let it out, girl.
Let it out, because
anyhow it'll come out.
Now, we don't want no sneezing through our presentation here and through our moment with our guests. Don't embarrass us, okay? Welcome, everybody. You know we have to start something. Like, this is just what we do here at Here to Help.
Big up, Chelsea. Big up.
Big up yourself, Chelsea. Want to, of course, say thank you to you, Chelsea, our engineer and producer back there. And I'm going to welcome today the rest of the beautiful panel that I have here.
Mimic panel?
You are part of the panel now.
But I'm here every week.
I know, but still, you're part of the panel today.
But I'm still part of the panel.
Yes, today.
Right. Well, thank you very much.
You're welcome,
All
sir.
Right.
My silly co-host to the right, Mr. Dave Rankin, the Don.
Alongside Simone, Jennifer Smith.
Thank you. And
yes.
Today we have someone who I met her on Saturday. It was a chance meeting.
Very.
And I remember saying to Dave, I have to, Sankofa told me about this woman. I have to go and speak to her. I have to talk to her.
Shout out to Sankofa, by the way.
Thank you very much. So I went up to her and I said, Sister Claudia, I have to speak to you. And I wanted everyone to, I want her to tell the story. I'll start it off like this. Many of us in times, and me and Sister Claudia were just talking about that, we have things that we want to do. And we sometimes make up 1,000,001 excuses as to why we don't get it done. There's always something that comes up. And this young lady here, she said she was going to do something, and she got it done. And from what I hear, I wasn't there because Dave and I were both held up in the house with flus.
That is true.
Dave, really?
Well, I got to share, I got to share.
Sorry, guys. So I would like to introduce to everybody Mrs. Claudia, sister, Claudia Tomlinson. So Claudia, welcome to Here to Help You.
Thank you very much.
And I'm going to tell you guys ahead of time, her voice is going, so at times there's a break. Understand, we all had the flu this weekend. We all had the flu this weekend.
Indeed.
And the funny thing about it, even with your flu, on Sunday you still made it out.
Yeah.
So talk to us about, tell us about, we call it the Mutabaruka experience. First of all, let's introduce you to the My TCN TV network. Tell everyone who you are if they don't know, and then we can start going into your experience.
Okay, well, I am, well, first of all, I should say that I was born in Jamaica.
Woohoo!
Yeah.
Sorry.
And African still the same, but I was born on the island of Jamaica. My soul came to this earth on the island of Jamaica. And I'm an early childhood educator, and I've been an early childhood educator for about 4 years now, officially. And I'm also a special needs teacher. And I've been working on this Mutabaruka event actually long before these 4 years in my mind.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So long, I want everyone to hear what she said, long before the 4 years.
Yes.
Okay, so
yes.
Tell us from the very genesis, I like that word.
The
The genesis of this idea. What made you think, okay, so I'm in early childhood educating, that's what I do. What made you even think about putting on like an event like this?
Okay, so in 2008, I lived in Jamaica. I had a business there. I decided that I wanted to come back to Canada to go back to school. And I was trying to figure out what it is I could do in terms of social change to help the community. Because I was actually a business person. I owned a wholesale store. I did lots of different businesses in Jamaica.
Wonderful.
And looking around, I said to myself, I need to do something to be able to help the community and also bring myself more satisfaction.
Wonderful.
So I decided to do this in 2008. I said, okay, what can I do? In my secret dreams, in my conscious sleeping, my conscious waking dreams, I used to call myself a dream catcher.
Okay.
All
Right? In private, of course, in secret.
Yeah, people would be like, Shimad.
In secret, I would call myself a dream catcher because I knew I wanted to do something that would help children and help adults to be able to fulfill themselves on a more uplifting level,
Right.
on a more conscious level, for them to learn things about themselves, about whatever it is they wanted to learn about, whatever they felt they had a passion for.
Right.
And that I knew that at the beginning, but I
Okay.
didn't know exactly that I was going to be an early childhood educator.
All
Okay.
right.
Right. So
Okay.
now 2008 forward now to 2009, I decided that I was going to go back to school. I came back to Canada, went back to school to become an early childhood educator, because I found that early childhood educators, they're professionals in child development. And in order for you to teach somebody about how children grow, you need to be an early childhood educator.
All
I
right.
think that that's very important. Not just, lots of people say you don't have any children, so how can you teach parents about being proper parents?
Right.
But being an early childhood educator, you're a
Yes.
professional.
Right.
Absolutely.
Doctors do not perform surgeries on their own children.
That's
Right.
right.
They leave it to other professionals,
professionals.
to do that. So as a parent, they would be able to listen to someone who has the experience and the professional experience of learning about brain development and the reasons why children do the things they do, the stages in life that they do the things they do. So forward now, early childhood educator, also then learning about emotions and the importance of emotions, connecting to how children learn. Right? Emotions are so important. It's mandatory. If they're happy and if they're feeling interested in something, then they learn better.
That is
Right.
great.
Interesting. On
That is-
Saturday,
hits the
because
nail
this
on the
is
head, doesn't it?
wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is another reason I had to come up to you, because I spoke of emotional intelligence at the Pan African Women's Day.
And I mentioned that at the
That's
seminar.
right. And we spoke about emotional intelligence and how people don't understand how that works. They don't understand that and it's true with early adulthood. There is that part of the brain that when that emotional side is on,
Yes.
you're not learning anything.
No.
People don't, grown-ups don't even know this, right? So continue, sister. I just had to hit on the fact that I remember that clearly, and I was like,
Right.
yes, one of the
And
reasons.
That's what connected me to you too, is that when you mentioned that, I actually didn't want to take up my phone, but I had to take it up and punch that in my phone so I'd remember it.
Right.
Because you actually said that you spoke about emotional handicap, is what you said, that a
Yes.
lot of times people, other cultures or even other people of our own culture would look at some of us as emotional handicaps because we don't know how to handle our emotions effectively.
That's
And a
right.
lot of people don't understand that that is something that has to be taught. It's not
It's
just
not-
something that
Very
happens
true.
naturally.
Correct.
That's right.
Right? So if a lot of parents were to understand this idea that their emotions, however they show their emotions to their children or to their own environment, to themselves, is how the children will absorb it.
Right.
And those emotions will carry on to those children and continue for generations.
Okay, so I kind of want to take the next couple segments to speak about this because I think it's very important. It's funny how things can
Manifest, right?
manifest.
Yeah.
I didn't expect to be talking about this. I knew that's what you were into. I had in my mind's eye what I wanted the show to look like, but I'm sorry. We're going to go here with this one. No, because you know what it is? We work with children and we see this. And I swear, I'm sure we could sit down here and just swap stories back and forth. But
real.
I want you to maybe talk about some of the difficulty you've seen, or what's some of the issues you've seen with working with our community when it comes to helping their children, when it comes to their emotions and
The anger.
Okay.
The anger is like, that's forefront on the front of my mind as you say that. Learning how to handle your emotions effectively, learning to understand that emotions are thoughts, for them to understand that emotions are simply thoughts, thoughts that come in with the breathing, just like you're breathing. As you inhale the thoughts, you bring them into your brain, and they disappear just as quickly as you exhale. But if we were able to understand that and grasp the concept that thoughts are really only thoughts, and if we give ourselves that split second to realize that this is just a thought, it's going to disappear in a minute, so I don't have to act on it,
Right.
then we'd be able to handle our situations so much differently.
man, if I knew.
If you knew, right? If you knew.
Gotta come with books.
You see,
Flipping pages here, like, yes, sister girl, talk. No, but honestly,
it's true,
sorry, go
right?
ahead.
Because
Dave.
I mean, I've had this conversation with a gentleman over the weekend that when we become very emotional, there's a side of the brain that actually, the logical side of the brain, which totally shuts off.
It's called the wow, I'm looking this word out. Amygdala?
Amygdala, I think
That's
what
it
it's
is,
called,
amygdala. That is the part of the brain, yes.
Chelsea, what? You can't spell that?
Yeah, spell it,
Amygdala?
Chelsea. You know what that is, Chelsea? So now you know. We like to teach the young ones something, you know? Every now and then, this is what we're here. We're here to educate the young minds.
Big up.
So that is the part of the brain, Chelsea, that shuts off when you become emotional, okay? You've learned something new, eh? Don't say we don't help you here. I'm here to help you. All right. So,
Yes.
Go ahead, Brother Diev.
Now, when you come across, situations like this now where you're observing, of course, the anger, what type of advice do you give to the parents? Because a lot of people don't think that probably there are a lot of resources out there which can go ahead and assist them. So now, in an advice capacity, what would you now go ahead and provide in that sort of sense?
Well, in this short situation right here, like in a split second, like to give them, it would be difficult to give them like a lot of advice as to what to do. But first of all, you're angry. You, like as the parent, when you see your children behaving like this, that is in itself brings emotions to you.
Absolutely.
But as the adult, we have to remember that they watch us. They watch us with how we react. And if we can just maybe take ourselves from the situation for a while and calm ourselves down before we tell them exactly what it is we want to tell them, because we'll behave in the most aggressive manner when we're upset. Yeah.
Your fever! Do I fever?
And if we actually gave ourselves a little bit of time to think about what we're going to say, we'll be able to say it better, and our children will respect us more for it.
Interesting. Our children will respect. So I've heard this before, where children actually do lose respect for you because they see that you can't keep your own cool.
Yeah, and if you can't keep it, why should I?
Why should I keep my cool if you can't do it?
Yeah, and then what happens is the physical abuse, and we would call it abuse now, but back in the day, we never. Yes.
You mean discipline?
Yeah, discipline. The discipline is more effective when you can be able to explain to your children. The explanation is so important in the classroom environment. When children are indisciplined, if we were able to go to that as our method of discipline, a lot of us wouldn't have a job. Right? And as teachers and as early childhood educators, most often, at least in my classroom anyways, I found that the children, they respect you for explaining something to them. They respect you, and it's respect that you have to get from them. Even the 5-year-old and the 4-year-old and even the 3-year-old, yes. You have to look to get respect from them. And through them respecting you, they listen to you. And every time they go home, they say, Miss Claudia or Miss Tomlinson did this, and Miss Tomlinson did this, and Miss Tomlinson says it like this. You know what I mean? So, yeah, because they respect the way, and you're there with them for the whole day too. So you're there with them for the whole day. And the feelings of anger, I would say, because anger it's okay to feel angry.
Yes.
It's okay to feel angry, but you have to accept the thought as, I'm angry right now and I can't deal with it like this. I have to sit back.
Let me stop you.
Yes.
I want her to continue. I didn't think I don't want to stop her, but we have to go to a commercial. So we'll be back. Trust me, we have a lot more to hear.
Hey guys, Grant here from Care 101 Media Group, and this is an outreach video going out to everybody with a request for assistance on your part. As you guys know, there's a lot of devastation that happened in the islands because of Hurricane Irma. There are families that are hugely displaced. Some islands are over 95% inhabitable, and people are reaching out to us, asking us where they can either give products or aid or finances, and at the time we didn't know where to go.
So in order to aid in relief efforts, Care 101 Media Group has started up a GoFundMe page where the community can now go and help submit donations in order to help rebuild the infrastructure that's been damaged due to Hurricane Irma. So, going to the page, donating like at least $5, $10, even $50 isn't very much, but it will help, our Caribbean brothers, sisters, families, friends in helping rebuild their homes.
There's also a call for certain donation items as well, which are personal hygiene products they're looking for. They're requesting things like baby diapers, baby food, clothing, things like toiletry, personal hygiene products, garbage bags, disinfectants, so that they can help with the cleanup. So at our office at 55 Rutherford Road South, Unit 205 in Brampton, we are set up to receive your donations there. So instead, if you'd like to donate some items versus donating money, please come on over to the office here in Brampton. We'd be more than happy to accept your donations. We will be getting it together in about 2 weeks, and I believe the date would be September 21st that we'd like to turn the items over to the Consulate General Office for Antigua, where they'll be shipping it down to Barbuda for distribution there.
Now, keep in mind too that as much as it's nice to give toiletry products and stuff like this, they also have to try and get it down there. But a lot of these islands have been so hugely devastated that they need money to rebuild and get supplies and stuff like that. So we're kindly asking that if you can please, if it's $5, $10, $15, $20, please donate, because that's what they need the most. They need to start rebuilding their infrastructure, rebuilding homes, and creating shelters for these people that are displaced. So again, if you can help, we greatly appreciate it. It's perfect here where we are right now, and we can only imagine what families are going through, not having homes, losing all their possessions, and literally not having anything that they know as home around them.
Welcome back. We are back, and I am very happy again. I love the organic experience that we are having right now. We have the wonderful, and I said your last name wrong.
Tomlinson, actually.
So let's talk about this for a second. So when I got the email,
Really?
I swear it said Tomlinson. And now I feel like an idiot because I said the wrong name. So let's try this again. I'm going to reintroduce. Today we have a special guest. We have the wonderful Claudia Tomlinson.
That is very nice. No,
Yeah, I
very
got
nice.
that now.
It's very Jamaican-like, yeah?
And you know what? I brought her here because we are going to get to that in the next segment. I brought her here to speak about her experience because she had a plan. She had a dream of something she wanted to do, and she brought it to pass. We're going to get there. And I was going to call it, the whole show was going to be called the Mutabaruka experience.
But it still is.
I guess so.
Right, because, of course, we're speaking about, once again, something that was a seed that was planted, right, from many, many years ago, right, which has now come to fruition, right? No different in regards to the sister saying how early childhood education, how she's just recently getting into, of course, this field, right? And now she will share in regards to like her dreams and aspirations, in regards to where she want to go further, right?
See, Dave, you always every now and then you just drop some knowledge. I don't know.
That is why I don't speak much. I'm listening.
Every now and then he just surprises me. Says something so profound. You like that word, Chelsea? Profound. You got that one? Okay, wonderful.
She's not in yes, family.
So let's go into, actually, we were speaking a little bit briefly on our little break. I'm not going to give away too much of our information. That's behind the scenes stuff. You have been in, so what industry have you been working in? I know you're doing a transition right now. You're in a little bit of a transition. So where were you where you did a lot of your early childhood education work?
Well, I've worked at Hinks Delcrest, which is a center for children with emotional issues.
Okay.
Yeah, that's at Jane and Shepherd area there. I've worked in a few early years centers in Toronto, a few different ones, about maybe 4 or 5 actually. Yeah, and I've worked at Family Day, which is also a daycare within the school, the Catholic School Board.
Okay. Okay. And what brought you, like, even for you, what made you think, okay, childhood education, this is what I want to do? What brought you to that? Because it does take something special to be in that field. It takes a lot of patience, because you're dealing with emotion.
Yes.
Right? And
yes.
Again, when dealing with emotion, working in that field, I know you have to sometimes contend with your own.
Yes. Yes.
Right? So talk about that.
Well, what made me decide to get into early childhood actually was because I wanted to be a parent educator. Back in Jamaica, backtrack 2 seconds. Back in Jamaica, I would drive around and sell things to people. Like I would deliver things, wholesale items.
Right.
And so I would be able to see the family environment on a local level. Right. And I realized that we need that in Jamaica right now, like to be able to show parents, give them small tidbits of knowledge on how they could handle situations better, emotionally charged situations.
Right.
Because I find that a lot of the anger stems from how the parents really react to the children. And it's, they're trying hard,
Yes.
but the pressure is on. And because the pressure is on, sometimes we have to pull ourselves away from the situation and look at it differently. So I wanted to become more along the lines of a parent educator.
Okay.
In order for me to be a parent educator, I had to know about child development,
Okay.
hence early childhood.
Right.
Forward now, I decided, in addition to early childhood, I found out that emotions are so important, right? Like, even though like the development of the brain is important, obviously, and understanding that emotions connect you, so that when a child is interested in something, they call that intrinsic motivation.
Right.
For you to be intrinsically motivated to do something, you have to catch them at the right time.
Right.
That's right.
Right?
Yeah.
And as a parent, you can kind of figure that out as you go. But if you had certain little seminars or something, an hour a day, whatever, an hour every few months, to just go and do something like this, to learn a little tiny bit more about how to handle situations,
Right.
it would make things so much easier for you. You know what I mean? And as now moving forward to special needs, I'm also a special needs teacher.
Okay.
Right? And special needs comes in with a parent who has a special needs child is somebody who has to have patience. They are the strongest sets of parents ever.
Yes.
Right?
Agreed,
And
right here.
also with special needs, you find that you need to have like that connection with the child. You need to be able to have that kind of special connection with the child, and on an emotional level also. And children with emotional disorders and emotional issues like aggression issues, ADHD issues,
Right.
Those types of things,
Right.
all combine with the emotion.
That's right.
It all combines with the emotion. And if you, as the teacher, can understand that, in addition to the development of the brain, you're well on your way to being able to teach parents and teach other people how to handle their own emotions and how to handle certain situations.
You know what? I think what you, like, I'm sorry, I have sparks in my head going off right now. Like, so, because I really
Just
do
gonna take
agree.
this off.
Oh, the pink's gone.
I know, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It's falling.
But it's okay. The shirt's beautiful. So,
Okay.
the importance of parenting. So, what you're saying is, especially in our community, when it comes to the aggression, and this, please clarify me if I'm wrong, Brother Dave. I know that a lot of this emotional trauma we feel is transgenerational.
Correct.
I know, and you can correct me, sister, if I'm wrong, that the way that we've disciplined our children, especially, and I'll say West Indians, okay, is because of how our great-great-great-great-great-grandparents were treated by slave owners. We learned that the only way to discipline somebody to make them do what you want them to do is to beat them. So there's a lot more when it comes to this whole emotional side. I really believe, and you can give me your thoughts on this, that a lot of this might be very transgenerational, and that's really deep rooted.
That's really deep rooted. And what usually my mother and I, we have these kitchen table talks often, like she believes in sitting and eating and discussing, right? And we used to talk about the things that you do the best you can with what you have.
That's right.
And that's really what our parents did.
That's
They
right.
did the best they could with what they had.
That's right.
So we're not blaming them for
No,
it.
Right.
no.
Right?
Right.
But we still need to move on from it.
Yes.
In order to move on from it, we're not just at that level right now where we talk about it and say, oh, it was so terrible that this happened. We need to figure out a way to
Action.
deal with the situation.
Beautiful.
Action.
And in my head, 8 years ago, up until even 4 years ago, my way of dealing with the situation was through the education. educating them, letting them understand that it is not as simple as the child comes out and he just absorbs everything from the environment and he's either good or bad.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a mission that we're on. We're on a mission to change their level of consciousness. That's what we're on.
Very, very important. It's your role, and I'm telling you again, sitting beside you, and there's certain people who give off a certain type of energy, and I feel it, sister. Like, I know, and it takes a certain type of person. You have to, again, the level of patience you have to have, because just Dave and I as teachers, when we go into some of these homes sometimes.
Sometimes you just want to turn around, of course, and walk out of the home, right?
Yeah,
but
for real.
we understand that there is a need. You're right. There's a need for teaching. And I think right now with your transition, it will be wonderful to see what type of programs you can put together for some parents, because I think parents need parenting lessons. People think it's true. Like, it doesn't come with a manual, really.
No, it doesn't. And a lot of us believe that as soon as you have children, it's just an automatic thing that you become a parent and you just do the
It
parent
comes
thing.
naturally.
Right.
But if you really want the best for them, knowing that parents are busy and you don't have a lot of time to do a lot of things, but because we're on a mission of raising the next generation differently, we really have to make the effort. Like how when I was in school and I knew that this is what I wanted to do, I would go to work, do my actually go to school in the day. I finish at 3:30. I go to work from 4 until 11, and then I go home and study from 11 until like sometimes 3 or 4 in the morning. And then I get up and I'm start all over again.
Right.
And what kept me going was the fact that I knew I wanted to do something. I wanted to do something that would make my community better, you know, make this a social change better. And as parents, you have the next generation's community in the palm of your hands.
Right.
If you have to stay up some nights and read a few books, read a few paragraphs, a few pages of a few books, do it.
It's
because
investment, man.
it's an investment that you're making not only in the children that you have in your home, but you're making an investment in the lives of the other children in your community on a whole. Yeah.
That's a very, very, very powerful message. Like,
Very true.
I didn't know we were going to talk about early childhood education.
Well, you know what? Like, but once again, this is the organic,
Yes.
right? This is what we want. This is the experience that we all need and we all crave for, right? Something to be organic, right? Because I had no clue. To be honest with you, as I'm sitting here right now, of course, I know that you and Simone, of course, connected, and the vibes are good.
I don't share all the information. I left out the juicy
You
stuff.
see, and of course, like all the other viewers now, right? I'm intrigued, right? So my question is this: so now, of course, you mentioned that especially dealing with special needs children, a lot of patience is involved, and we know that, of course, emotions are taxing, right? Especially when you're either absorbing or either giving, right? So what do you do to recharge? Because of course now
necessary.
You just mentioned, of course, going to school, going to work, studying, doing it all over again, right? So of course that in itself is taxing. So what would you now do to recharge yourself?
Mindfulness and meditation.
Okay.
Yeah, very important. And on Sunday, when we did the seminar with Muta, my segment was the importance of mindfulness and meditation and the Black community understanding this. I'm not of the level yet where I could say that I know that we were doing these things in Africa before this mindfulness and meditation thing from the West came about.
Right.
I'm not really knowledgeable on exactly what it was called when we were in Africa, but I know that it was happening, right? Because it's something that's within us. It's natural. It comes naturally once you practice. The only issue with mindfulness and meditation is that it takes time. That's the only thing. 20 minutes every day. You get up in the morning and you make that conscious effort to meditate before you leave. Sometimes before you leave your bed. And if you feel that you're going to fall back asleep, you get up and you wash your face, and then you go back and you find your secret spot. Even if it's in the bathroom, and you sit for 20 minutes and you meditate and you gather your thoughts and you ask the universe to give you love for the day and provide you with the level of patience to handle whatever comes to you. You know?
Everybody, I am dying to see this replay. Okay, so we'll be back and we're going to go into a little bit more with Sister Claudia, but then we're going to start talking about the Mutabaruka experience. See everyone soon.
Hey guys, Grant here from Care 101 Media Group, and this is an outreach video going out to everybody with a request for assistance on your part. As you guys know, there's a lot of devastation that happened in the islands because of Hurricane Irma. There are families that are hugely displaced. Some islands are over 95% inhabitable, and people are reaching out to us, asking us where they can either give products or aid or finances, and at the time we didn't know where to go.
So in order to aid in relief efforts, Care 101 Media Group has started up a GoFundMe page where the community can now go and help submit donations in order to help rebuild the infrastructure that's been damaged due to Hurricane Irma. So, you know, going to the page, donating like at least $5, $10, even $50 isn't very much, but it will help, you know, our Caribbean brothers, sisters, families, friends in helping rebuild their homes.
There's also a call for certain donation items as well, which are personal hygiene products they're looking for. They're requesting things like baby diapers, baby food, clothing, things like toiletry, personal hygiene products, garbage bags, disinfectants, so that they can help with the cleanup. So at our office at 55 Rutherford Road South, Unit 205 in Brampton, we are set up to receive your donations there. So instead, you know, if you'd like to donate some items versus donating money, please come on over to the office here in Brampton. We'd be more than happy to accept your donations. We will be getting it together in about 2 weeks, and I believe the date would be September 21st that we'd like to turn the items over to the Consulate General Office for Antigua, where they'll be shipping it down to Barbuda for distribution there.
Now keep in mind too that as much as it's nice to give toiletry products and stuff like this, they also have to try and get it down there. But a lot of these islands have been so hugely devastated that they need money to rebuild and get supplies and stuff like that. So we're kindly asking that if you can please, if it's $5, $10, $15, $20, please donate, because that's what they need the most. They need to start rebuilding their infrastructure, rebuilding homes, and creating shelters for these people that are displaced. So again, if you can help, we greatly appreciate it. It's perfect here where we are right now, and we can only imagine what families are going through, not having homes, losing all their possessions, and literally not having anything that they know as home around them.
So we just discovered that Chelsea, our engineer, clearly has Jamaican roots because she's extremely aggressive today. And we're trying to see, Sister Claudia has been trying to work with her on that during the break, on the aggression, since she's an early childhood educator.
Oh, wow.
That card was for Chelsea. Welcome back, everybody. Girl, I will get you on camera. You have no idea. Remember who you're dealing with. I am an elder to you, little girl. All right,
She is shaking her head in agreement. It's there. I see it. Go on easy, girl. Go on easy.
So welcome back, everyone. This is the fun we have. Like, life is living in moments. We were just speaking about that mindfulness. You have to have fun with life. It doesn't matter. Like, regardless of what you're doing, you enjoy it to your best ability, and live. So for those who are just joining us now, I would like to introduce to my far right, my co-host, who's been very quiet today, but he's been sick too. Everyone was sick this weekend. We were just a bag of mess this weekend.
Jeez. Lovely choice of words, I see.
We were. All three of us, between the three of us, no one really had a voice. I had the most of a voice on Saturday between the three of us when we met.
That is true. And then I had no consciousness whatsoever on Sunday.
Sunday was pretty bad for everyone.
Thank you to everybody sending out their warm wishes, by the way.
Thank you for everyone. And we want to thank Chelsea for her understanding during the whole last week. We all got it from Chelsea when she was here, this flu. So we'd like to thank her for passing it on. It was a wonderful experience. Sister Claudia wants to laugh harder, but she has to be as professional as possible today. So she's not going to. So we also have in the middle, in the beautiful orange with the pink scarf that you can't see anymore, but it's here, Sister Claudia Tomlinson. You hear that?
Wow.
Why'd I have to say it so aggressive?
You enunciate very well.
My mom's from Sapamar.
Nice.
My dad's from St. Mary. This is why.
Oh, that's how they taught you way out. That's why.
That's what I learned it.
Oh, I see.
So now, First of all, I like to put up a picture of the gentleman who was here on Sunday. For those who don't know him, picture of the gentleman.
It's coming. It's coming.
Is it coming?
Yeah. It's coming. Can we get a picture out?
Thanks, Chelsea.
I appreciate it.
We appreciate. There it is. Look at. So I want to talk about this for a second. So this man, I watched some videos with him. Okay, and I spoke to Sister Claudia about this. When I tell you there's nothing like being in his presence, this man's energy is strong from across the room.
Yeah.
I could feel this. He didn't have to even look at me. I could feel this man. This picture here, it's a pretty strong picture. But again, you have to meet this man in person, and no one better to introduce than the lady who made it happen. Talk to us about this experience, sister.
Oh my gosh. The first thing I have to say, I picked him up at the airport and I was hoarse already. And he said to me, you got to save your voice. I said, listen, I have Mutabaruka in my car beside me. That's not going to happen.
Sorry. No.
I said, that's not going to happen. I'm going to have to just deal with it. And then later on, I'll have to take some vitamins or something to try and get my voice back. But right now, I have to talk to you in a few hours. Everybody else is going to take your attention. I got you trapped.
Yeah.
So I got you trapped. You got to stay in the car while I drive you to the hotel. So yeah, it was a beautiful experience. He's a very beautiful soul, very strong soul. Very strong soul. He speaks his mind.
Yes.
Which
Yes.
is also a beautiful thing.
Woo.
Yes.
He speaks his mind, and I've been listening to Mutabaruka from I was in my 20s in Jamaica when I was there doing the business, and he's an inspiration. He's an inspiration to me. He's an inspiration to a lot of people, but to me, because what he did for me was that he helped me to learn more. He planted the seeds in me, is what he did, and I thought that he had to be the first for me to, when I began this Seminars for You venture,
right.
I said he had to be the first of the seminars because he symbolized for me my growth from that stage of planning this thing in my head, of being the dream catcher, up until, graduating from early childhood and moving on to special needs and everything. He is the person that taught me about a lot more about my African heritage, a lot more about the I think it was from him that I learned about the post-traumatic slavery disorder, that I then started to learn from the lady who I forget her name now, but I googled her name a lot, like the lady who
wrote the book.
Yeah, who wrote the book?
Was it Joy DeGruy?
DeGruy,
Yes.
right? Joy DeGruy.
Of course, Dave knows.
Yes.
Cool girl.
Right. So because of that, I decided that Muta would have to be the first because he is an inspiration to a lot of people. He says these things like, "Don't take my word for it. Google it." Back in the day, when all he could do was just tell you on the radio, and you had to find a library, you had to this, you had to do that. He says, don't take my word for it. Don't believe me. I'm putting it out there, but you now go and do your research. And he's just a beautiful soul.
So that picture here, actually, this picture is from Sunday.
Yes.
And one of the things about him, and you can maybe speak on this, I wish we could have had him here. That would have been really cool.
Awesome. That would have been awesome.
It would have been so cool.
Yeah.
Too bad our show's on Tuesdays. Anyhow, so one thing that is symbolic of him is the fact that he actually walks around barefoot.
Yes, he does.
Not one shoe.
Yes, he
Yeah.
does. Yes.
Not even a shoe.
It's that whole connection.
Yes.
Right?
The grounding, right?
That too, right? Once you develop a certain type of spirit within yourself, there's things that you don't feel anymore, right? And especially now, there are times when he's been here during the winter, right? And he's walked around barefoot.
Yes, a lot of people ask that question.
Right. I've been with people who've done the same thing. Once again, once you develop a certain type of spirit within yourself, stuff like that doesn't even faze you after a while.
No, it doesn't.
He was saying in one of his videos that the only place he's ever got cut was in his own house. Like, how ironic is that?
I know only rock stone.
I know the most rock stones,
Yes.
Jamaican. A
Yes.
rock and a stone is the same thing, Jamaican. Stop saying this.
Cool.
Stop, rock stone. Stop it. It's the same thing. Okay. So,
Interesting, yeah.
no, like I remember hearing that and thought it was very ironic that he's stepping on like he's going through all types of temperatures and
Yes.
he's still and to be able to do there's a certain type of mental strength too.
Yes, and I saw for the record, I saw his feet close up, and they're beautiful feet. by the way.
His feet are
Soft,
beautiful
beautiful
and
feet.
soft. I saw the
Yes.
bottoms. I was like, how are they so like pale and pretty? My foot, and I wear shoes. Let me tell you.
Seriously.
Let's talk
yes.
about it. I'm just saying though.
And I think that what he is gathering from it, we didn't personally discuss that, but based on what I've read and what I've seen also, what he's saying is that he feels more at peace with the universe. He feels more connected with
Right.
the
Yes.
universe when his feet are touching the earth.
Right.
And a lot of people tell you that even in the park, like if you in the summertime or even right now in September, how it's so beautiful outside, take your shoes off and walk
Yes.
around on the grass
Yeah.
and see how that really relaxes you.
Yeah, man,
I'm
it's a
gonna
wonderful
take off my
connection.
shoes.
Like even Michael's symbol, Michael Jackson, by the way, right? His symbol. Remember that movie we used to go right up on his tippy toes,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because of course, like that whole grounding, that whole energy coming from the ground up, right? It's your feet, right?
Yeah.
And they, of course, they tell us,
A
listen,
cold enters through your feet.
There you go.
And they do all those things. You know those baths that you put your foot in?
Right, and where you
all
can
the
draw all
nastiness
the
comes
toxins.
out of your foot?
That's right? Because I mean, of
Gross.
course, that type of energy. There's a strong sense of energy. Listen, I think one foot alone may have close to either between 100 to 1,000 bones, tiny bones within our feet. So you can just imagine the type of pressure, right, that our feet go through on a daily basis. So I mean, even something like that, that's very spiritual.
Yes, it
Right?
is. It is.
I don't like. Okay, so Sister Claudia, let me tell you about Dave. This man right here is a wealth of knowledge. You know, only Dave can tell you have over 1,000 bones in your foot. Like I don't know these.
Mind
things.
you know what? I could be wrong in regards to my numbers. Please, somebody out there help me, right? But still, like there's a lot of tiny bones which are in your
Google
feet.
it.
Please do. Someone tell me. Right?
Yeah,
I
how
think
many
Chelsea's
bones-
jumping on it right now.
Yeah, how
Please
many
let me know.
bones are in our foot?
1 foot alone.
In
Not
our
the two,
foots.
just the one.
All right. So now I want to go back, and this is going to probably take us into our last segment.
Okay.
Tell us about when you said, okay, seminars for you.
Yes, seminars for you. Yes.
That's not a gang sign.
No.
It's the number 4.
Yes.
4.
So, Genesis, talk about this. Because I know you're transitioning. So this is all part of this.
Yes,
Okay.
it is. So, seminars for you was based on me now bringing everything together, all of my knowledge, and also the community, the knowledge from the community, in an environment where I'd be able to educate people. And Muta gave me that phrase. It's been around, I've heard, after I Googled it, after he said it. Googled it from the 70s. Like
Right.
this phrase, it's called edutainment.
Right.
Right?
Edutainment.
Yes.
Edutainment, right.
All right.
So what you do is you combine the learning with entertainment. Because as an early childhood educator, I understand that in order for children to learn, not just children, but in order for human beings to learn,
Right.
you need to be interested. It needs to grab your attention.
Has
That's
to be
right.
fun.
Right, it has to be fun. That's why, as educators, we say things like play is children's work. Lots of parents
That's
believe that is not the case. Oh, you guys play too much at school. But playing helps them to absorb the information around them. It helps them to use the play as examples. Like they pretend to be mommy and daddy. They pretend to be, the teacher. They pretend
Doctors.
the
That's right.
doctor.
Right.
They
Yep.
pretend, and through the play, they find their interest. And as they find their interest, we as the teachers watch them find their interest. And we then go back to the drawing board and say, oh, little Johnny's interested in this. Let's bring more of that in the
Focus.
classroom
Yeah.
environment.
Wonderful.
Right?
That's
This is how
it.
we gather our information as to how to teach them. So as a result of all of those things, now I put seminars for you together as a way of entertaining, especially the people within our community, but anybody who wants to be there, entertaining them and giving them the information in spoonfuls, like almost like medicine.
Like your
but
medicine.
that's good for you.
There we go.
Right? You know. So as we entertained them, Muta did his poetry, and then he started speaking about the religion. He spoke about, you know, how we as Jamaicans, how we're leaving a lot of our the things in Jamaica, the land in Jamaica, and we're here, and we really should be there doing something with it,
right.
you know. But he didn't just tell you that. He did a little poem first, you know, about certain things.
Edutainment.
That's right.
Kept everybody like focused. So, all right, I'm getting I don't know what that says because I cannot see.
26 bones. Okay, see, my numbers are off, right? But still, we can understand.
It's a lot of bones.
We can understand. Yes.
Dave just lost credibility.
No, I didn't lose credibility.
And we'll be back
But
to
there's a lot
explain
of-
why
there's a lot of
Dave just
bones.
lost credibility. See everyone soon.
Are you retiring smart? Make your home's equity work for you. With your home's equity and our 30 years of experience, the Retire Smart Properties team can help you achieve the quality of life you've always wanted. Our services are 360 degrees. We'll give you advice, take care of staging and selling, and help you find the perfect home and community to transition to. It's time to enjoy the retirement lifestyle you deserve. Visit our website today to learn how you can use your home to retire comfortably. The Retire Smart Properties team, powered by RE/MAX West.
Welcome us back, Dave.
As you can tell, we have a lot of fun behind the scenes. Welcome back, everybody, here to help you. Of course, we have the one who's very much enjoying herself at the far end here.
I'm having a great day.
Yes, you
Sister
are.
Claudia came in, and I've learned. You know what? I know a lot of this stuff. Hearing it again and hearing it from a different side of the education, because my side is more the psychology side of it. So when you were speaking about using play, they use a lot of play therapy because even with emotions, a child can't say to you, "I'm mad." They don't know how to do that. But if you get them playing, you will see that they are mad, right? So even things like that, listening to this, it's all very refreshing because I'm glad, again, for me, the mental health of our community and how we deal with things in the community, transgenerational trauma, all those things, I think are the core of a lot of our issues.
Definitely.
And I think it's something that we need to target. And you're right. Education, edutainment, anything that can be done, seminar for you, here to help. No plugs there. All of these things are very important because we have to find a way. The biggest way that we can take action is to teach.
That's right.
Because again, and I have to remind, there was a time when we did not know any of this, and now we have all this information available, and it's almost like we want to ignore it.
That's right. That's right. And because a lot of us are behaving as if we want to ignore it, we need to feed them it through entertainment.
Yes.
We need to feed it to them through entertainment, because the entertainment will get them out there, you know, and being interested, and then you teach it to them in small tidbits, you know, because if we sit and we don't do anything and it's just entertainment, you know, every Saturday night there's a party and you concentrate on those types of things, we'll never change. And a lot of the other, I don't want to say, a lot of the other cultures, they've passed us, they've surpassed us, and we need to accept the truth for what it is. Right?
It is what it is.
Yeah, it is what it is, and we really need to concentrate now on raising our children differently. You know, we can't be self-conscious about it, you know, and take it as, it's my child and I'll do what I want. You know, yes, you do to a degree what you want, but you need to learn more about how we are raising our children, because the thoughts that are going through your mind, even though as their thoughts, you're transferring them to your children without even noticing it. Without even noticing it. So through meditation and through mindfulness, I've been able to understand that for myself, that in the classroom environment, through my meditation, the children are calmer as a result of my practice.
Look at that.
Yeah, as a result of my practice, the children are calmer, because as I sit here and you say to me that you can feel the vibes, children are even
more
better
yep.
at feeling
a lot more
the
sensitive.
vibes.
Absolutely.
They're a lot more better at feeling the vibes, and even within the home environment, like it's a trial and error situation. And being a parent is the hardest job in the world. Being a parent of a special needs child is even harder.
Yes.
So
Yes.
we get it and we understand that, but we have to make the effort to show a different presentation, that when you're upset, you teach them how you handle your anger as an upset person. Because when you're upset and you behave angry and you think that you're just angry and they have to understand that you're angry, they need to understand how to handle anger when you yourself are in the anger. So you pull yourself away from the situation. You say, I need 5 minutes, like Sarah or John or Claudia, I need 5 minutes. And you go off into a corner by yourself, or you go into your room and you close the door. And you say, I'll be back in exactly 5 minutes, okay? And when you come back in 5 minutes, you're showing them how they should handle their anger on a future moment. Not try to pull the child's hair next to them because that child has done something terrible to them. You remove yourself from the situation and you say, I need 5 minutes right now.
Yes.
I need to move away so that I can come back and talk to you differently. Even as children, they need that.
Chelsea, I need 5 minutes. Leave the room. I was waiting for you to finish. I was gonna use it. I was like, oh boy.
Really?
So one thing I do want to show, because again, you being where you are, you said that this actually did start because you've been watching Mutabaruka since you were 20. So he's kind of put you on here.
Yes.
So we have a clip, I hope it's working, of Mutabaruka on Sunday when he arrived. Yes?
Yes.
Let's see what we have. Crossing our fingers it works.
Ladies and gentlemen, or may I say mothers and fathers, brothers and sisters, will you kindly help me welcome to the podium Mutabaruka. Lift arms. You can't sit down, man. I have to move the table there. They came. They came in wooden ships, they came. On the west coast of Africa, they came. Gambia, Senegal, Nigeria, Cameroon, they came.
I love it. I didn't get to hear it, but it felt very powerful.
And I was there. It was very powerful.
I have a witness. See?
There we go.
I didn't have to be there to know, but I can, again, the Saturday, just before he was on the Saturday night, was at the Pan-African Women's Day seminar or gathering.
Yes.
And again, I said, like, the moment he walked in, it was just, I felt it.
Yeah.
I felt it before I saw him.
Yeah.
Right? And when he sat down, just like, I was all nervous to look at him. Me. Nervous.
Really?
I was nervous. He's very powerful. Like, that type of, it's like, I looked up and then I looked down like a child. It's okay. Next time he comes back, I'm going to be like, hello.
You'll be like, Mr. Muta.
I'll be so much better next time.
I'm sure you will.
I will be. So, and I think, you know what? You see the beautiful color she's wearing today? There is a picture of Sister Claudia. There it is. Watch
Yes.
outfit.
That was
Boy.
beautiful.
Watch the outfit. I love it. So I'm going to have to talk to you about where you got this from. That's for off camera. We won't talk about that right now. But again, like, thankful to great, and I'm going to say great elders, like Mutabaruka. It has put you on a path to do something that, again, our community is in dire need of. Dire need of.
He is. I would look at him as the present day, like Marcus Garvey, and present day, to be in his presence and knowing that, like, those types of people, like the Marcus Garvey, like the Malcolm X's, like the Martin Luthers, that kind of energy in a room. Like, at that time, I can only imagine what those people must have felt, you know, to be in a room with someone who has that level of knowledge and also the determination, because he himself, Mutabaruka, had a lot of struggles also in his early years with a lot of people saying, you know, because he walked barefoot and all that stuff,
of course.
Of course. So
he's different.
He's different, right. He had a lot of struggles and he overcame it. He's a proper example of a present day person that we can look at and not idolize, because he's a human being, but look at and say, I would definitely want to walk in his footsteps, you know, walk in his footsteps and what he's been through, what he's gone through up until this point, and look at where he is now. You know, people are so excited to be around him. People are in awe of him.
Shy.
He wanted them to dance after there was an after party, by the way, that he wanted them to dance, and he started playing the music, but everybody just crowded the DJ booth and just stood there watching him.
Just in awe, like
in awe, watching him with their phones, you know.
For real.
Yeah, it was an awesome experience, and I couldn't have changed it. I wouldn't have changed it for the world, even with the hoarse voice and the amount of work that it took. I am eternally grateful. I'm eternally grateful.
Beautiful.
So now, we need you in the community more, and I know you're going through this transition. Where can people find you, and when are you having another Seminars for You presentation? We have 40-something seconds. Tell us. Where can we find you quickly?
So the website is seminarsforyou.ca. So it's seminars with an S, for the number 4, and the letter U.ca. You can find me there. Or can I give my office number?
Absolutely, please.
Okay, all right. So the number is 647-380-2573. So you can find me there also. The next seminar is in the works. It hasn't been officially set up yet, so I don't want to really give out anything at the moment, but it's in the works. In the next 4 or 5 months, we'll have another one. But we can't do it too often because it's very draining. But yeah.
Everybody, thank you. We have to go. It's 6:00. Thank you for being here. Thank you, Sister Claudia.
Thank you.
You know where to reach her. We will see everyone next week.
Peace and love, family.